Hi, welcome to Cinema Journal, and this is my first impression of DC's latest entry in their extended cinematic universe, Wonder Woman. Ever since she was a little girl, Diana, Princess of the Amazon from the island of Themyscira, played by Gal Gadot, dreams of becoming a warrior, to fight on behalf of mankind from the terrible influence of Ares, the Greek god of war. After her mother, Queen Hippolyta, played by Connie Nielsen, reluctantly agrees to her training, fate takes an unexpected turn when she saves Steve Trevor, played by Chris Pine, when he crashed on the secret island after being chased by the German army. Captured, he reveals that not only is the world in the middle of a great war, but could potentially become even deadlier with a new form of weapon that could kill millions of more lives. Convinced that Ares has returned, Diana leaves Themyscira with Steve to stop him in order to save mankind from destroying itself. When it comes to the superhero universe, I admit that I have a preference for DC than I do with Marvel, if only because I actually grew up with DC with their incarnations in the animated series and the films. I honestly couldn't care less about the comics. Now, with Marvel dominating the box office market with their extended universe with their catalog of heroes to choose from, DC has been behind it for so long that they are now scrambling to get their extended universe onto the big screen with their more iconic set of superheroes. And so far with their first 3 films, 2 from last year, they have been met with mixed results to say the least. While big box office hits, not only have critics been very harsh on them, but fans have been divided over their quality. Some loved them, some hated them, while the rest are stuck in the middle in various degrees. With no unifying factor that has hardly any enthusiasm for their extended universe, DC and Warner Brothers were seen as being in real deep trouble if they couldn't deliver. So a lot of hope and pressure was put on the shoulders of their next film in the lineup that is about the most iconic female superhero, Wonder Woman. Now before I go on to tell you my feelings about Wonder Woman, let me give you my 2 cents on how I feel about the whole DCU thus far. If I had to describe it all in one word, it would be disappointed. Man of Steel, a reboot of Superman and the first film of the DCU, while not terrible, wasn't really all that exciting for me. It could be that I'm not much of a Superman fan myself, but I could say the same for Iron Man and Captain America, and I've enjoyed their films. The issue I have with it is that it felt like that it didn't know exactly what kind of story it wanted to tell. At first it wanted to make Clark Kent feel alienated because of his superpowers from the rest of humanity, but I never felt like it was explored deep enough, if it ever did. So, because of that, I was left with an empty experience. I mean, it does look great, but that's not good enough. Now, its sequel, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. Where do I even begin with this mess? How about it being so unnecessarily convoluted with it trying to work in themes of religion, politics, and ethics into its story? Actually, no, it's not convoluted at all because it wanted to say something without actually saying anything because it doesn't know what it wanted to say. Even with mildly impressive action sequences, it was still boring for me. Not to piss on the director after the tragic death of his daughter, but the man is way too smart for his own good that it's not even funny. It's more embarrassing, really. And as for Suicide Squad, let's just move on. So, with 3 mediocre films, how did they do with Wonder Woman? Is DC finally getting on the right track? To that I say, finally! Now, it's not the greatest movie that I've ever seen, not even close. But I can say that it is a good movie, and a damn good one at that, which I am more than happy to take at this point. Not only does it have a strong central lead with Diana, played very well by Gadot, while telling an engaging coming-of-age story, but it has both the heart and the brains that I felt it was sorely lacking with their previous films. What I like the most about this film is that the character arc that Diana goes through is an actual personal journey in which she takes in order to become a stronger and better person. The film isn't afraid to take its time with Diana's metamorphosis from a young, idealistic young woman to a battle-hardened and wise warrior, treating her and her internal conflict with a lot of respect. She goes through many different experiences that will shape her outlook, both good and bad, in which she is put to the ultimate test by the climax of the film, making her a character that I can root for. Gal Gadot makes her character come to life, not only in her looks but in her performance. She's kind, passionate, naive, curious, brave, and compassionate, all of which that makes her a well-rounded character, and I love that. And it's not just her. Pine as Steve Trevor works just as well, and the chemistry that the two share is both believable and charming. The two really work off from each other very well, from the drama, the action, and even the comedy, which never felt forced but natural. This is actually romantic comedy at its finest, because I can actually believe that these two can be a legitimate couple because the progression in the story is so well told. The look of the film is also great. They make great use of the art directions, from the look of Themyscira, which we actually do spend some considerable time in the beginning of the film, to the battlefields of World War I, and the action sequences are flowed beautifully that I can actually follow it easily. Now, of course, there are plenty of CGI effects and numerous slow-mo moments, which those can turn me off because of how fake they look or they being so overused, but they actually didn't bother me in this one. I'm actually much more forgiving and even accepting of it. Maybe it has to do with the fact that Diana is not just kicking ass just to look cool, but she's actually fighting for what she believes in. Even the climactic fight scene here, which looks almost exactly like the climactic fight scene from Batman v Superman, which I found to be quite boring to watch, got me invested because she's more than just fighting the ultimate villain, she's fighting within herself, which makes her struggle all the more engaging. Speaking of villains, the characterization of Dr. Poison and German officer Lufenthal seem to be the main contention of many people as being way too cartoonish in their portrayal. While I can see and understand the complaint, it actually never really bothered me. I mean, when you compare them to Jesse Eisenberg's take on Lex Luthor, they come off as pretty tame. Plus, they're not in the movie all that much, and by the end, they're not really the main villains as far as I'm concerned. But the film does have its flaws as far as I can see, and there was one part where it took me out because of the way they shot and edited that made it feel really odd. It's really hard for me to explain it without spoiling it, but I imagine it to be in an incredibly awkward moment for Wonder Woman. So, thank God that they actually made a good movie that is part of this universe, and for a superhero that truly deserves it. Still find it hard to believe that it has taken Wonder Woman this far just to get her own movie, when other superheroes that are way less known got theirs first. Well, in any case, it's a film that has a more grounded story with its well-defined themes along with a great leading character. It's a solid enough movie for me to give this an 8.5 out of 10. I wasn't pumping my fist in the air by the end, more like letting out a sigh of relief, but it's a film that needs to be seen if you are a fan of Wonder Woman.